consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 39, Saturday sunny with a high near 64, and Sunday partly cloudy with a high around 65. Independent Bookstore Day is Saturday, and Next Chapter Booksellers is celebrating all weekend. Pick up your Twin Cities bookstore passport, get stamped at Next Chapter Booksellers, and enjoy discounts, prizes, and more at 37 local indie shops. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us. It is Casual Friday. You know what that means. If you have anything that is on your mind, paranormal-wise, let us know. We could talk about anything you want tonight. Otherwise, I have stuff to talk about tonight. We have Question of the Week coming up, and just a lot of, this is our way to try to ease into the weekend. I know everyone has had probably a tough weekend or tough week. Maybe you're going to have a tough weekend. Who knows? But this is your opportunity to kind of just relax and just enjoy the next hour, hopefully, and do our best. And I want to say, first of all, congratulations to Adam for playing the right music tonight. That's always a good start to the show. Well done. I appreciate it.
I wasn't looking at a calendar from last month to try to do my job this evening, so I knew where we were.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing your job right tonight. So it's
so new and different.
It is. Well, you took me by surprise. So
took me by surprise too. How do you think I feel?
Well, and you are just getting off of meeting or actually seeing someone that you really like talk yesterday, and you got to see Kevin Smith yesterday, right?
Yes, my wife and I, Danielle, we went to both of the Dogma screenings and Q&As yesterday, which was very, very fun. Obviously, the movie was going to be the same both, but the Q&As were different both times. The only thing that was the same through both Q&As, and I just wanted to yell out from where I was sitting both times, he was talking about how when he made the flick back in '99 is when he was really struggling with his faith and ended up losing his faith. then about 6-7 years ago, he had a massive heart attack, and he still struggles with faith. But as he's talking, about the movie, he's George Carlin and Alan Rickman are both in the flick who have since passed, and he's talking afterwards. He's like, yeah, when they're on screen and we're talking about them like this, they're back with us for a moment. I just want to yell, that's because you're into spiritualism now, dude. And obviously I didn't, but it's like I can see where you're going with this, Kevin. And it's actually kind of nice to see. It's like, yeah, you have a good idea of what's going on.
A couple things there. Too bad you didn't. You should have. Missed opportunity. What if you watched Dogma? What if you saw the second screening of Dogma and there was like a whole different ending or something to it? You would have like probably expired right there in the theater. That'd be my guess.
I probably would have. But he did talk about how he's now writing this sequel to it.
Dogma 2?
Yep, Dogma 2, following if you've seen the flick or anyone who's seen the flick, at the end of it, Bethany, the last Zion, who couldn't have children, is all of a sudden pregnant. So the second movie is...
Where have I heard that story before? Anyway.
Exactly. Well, as they say in the movie, Bethany shares a chromosome or two with Jesus. So the second one is going to follow Bethany's daughter. So that one should be interesting. He's writing it. Looks like they got a production company to put it together. I don't know if Affleck and Damon are going to be in this one, considering they both died in the first one, but they're angels, so who knows? But yeah, it sounds like it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds like fun. I'm glad that you're able to enjoy that and talk to, or you didn't talk to, but you listened to Kevin Smith talk. It's interesting because you and I were talking about this earlier today, that on Tuesday, I'm going to have on Simon Bown, and he wrote a book about verified near-death experiences, and we had to pre-record that because he's in the UK. That's going to air Tuesday night. I'm just going to say this fits into that story because just learning from you that Kevin Smith did flatline during his heart attack, right?
Yeah, his widowmaker heart attack.
His widowmaker heart attack. So what a blessing that he made it through. But a commonality with near-death experiences is that switch from maybe not thinking too much about faith or spiritualism or whatever to making that switch and kind of looking at around. And like for someone like myself who likes a lot of physical media and stuff like that, that none of that stuff really matters a whole lot. It's like a very different, fresh perspective. Tune in on Tuesday night to listen to Simon. It's absolutely incredible, his story. And I think that, listening to what you're talking about with Kevin Smith, it very much matches, steps in line with it. I think that's really good. So
that is going to be a fun one on Tuesday.
It's really good. He is really good. I mean, let's not put apart the side that I said his name wrong the first segment. I mean, that's a good start. But whatever, right? I mean, it's only what identifies him, right? I mean, that's not that big of a deal, right? To be able to get your guest name right. But that's okay.
Fine.
Because I was on a podcast and they brought me on as a guest. And beforehand, they're like, what's the name of your show again? And folks, trust me, I don't expect anyone to remember anything about me. So that's not an issue at all. But I'm like, it's GhostBox Radio. I'm like, got it. And they wrote it down. And the whole thing starts. And they're just like, they're getting like every aspect about me wrong. And I'm correcting them. And then the show starts up. And the guy is like, we got Greg Bacon here from Spirit Box Radio. And I'm just like... And it's like, I'm not mad that they got it wrong. Like, you should know I'm GhostBox. No one should know anything. I got mad because he asked me a minute beforehand and wrote it down. What did he write down?
I don't know, but at least he made your last name tasty.
Yeah, I mean, Bacon is normally what they call me. That's normally what, if you're going to get my name wrong, that's what it's going to be. And normally it's going to be Bacon or Bakun. And and I just was like, I literally was about ready just to walk away because I'm like, you can't even get that part right, and you wrote it down. What luck are we going to have? So it's like, it happens. I get it, and I feel horrible about it. I do want to address something before we get into the more lighthearted stuff. I wasn't sure where I was going to put this in the show, but I say, Denise is like, did you say buffoon? Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great? We have Greg Bacon here from Spirit Box Radio, and all you hear is buffoon.
I
No.
can hear that coming out of you, though.
And actually, Denise, I was even worse. I was even ruder to them. They said Greg Bacon from Spirit Box Radio. I'm like, Ernie Pack. So yeah, that's how that went. But I want to quickly go over something that happened from Wednesday's show, because it bothered me, and talking with Chad, the owner, it bothered him as well, and that really comes down to is some of you know, on Wednesday we had Father Bob Bailey on the program talking about the conclave, because I find it very interesting. Is it paranormal? No, but I consider it a mystery. One thing that is obviously the elephant in the room when it comes to bringing on a Catholic priest is that there are some scandals, there's a lot of scandals, to be perfectly honest, that are associated with the Catholic Church. I'm not going to whitewash that at all. That is truly a fact. And the thing about that is I knew that that's an area of contention, and it should be in a lot of ways that those are questions that, you know, people want answers to, that are good questions to ask about those. Wednesday night's program is not the place for it. And I said at the top of the program that because I knew that this could be something that people were going to ask about to somebody who has nothing to do with that part of the church, they're going to want to ask about it, that I'm trying to cut them off and saying, we're only going to answer questions about the conclave tonight regarding the Catholic Church. That's all we're going to do. And that to me that's very clear where I wanted to stand with that. Somebody came on during the program and they said that I have a lot of questions, but you're not going to put them on the air. You're not going to address them. And I knew exactly what they're talking about. And I even during the program, I said, I see your questions. And like I said at the beginning, we're not addressing those sort of questions in this program. And then that person had said, basically towards the end of the program, if you don't ask my questions, I'm going to highlight your show as a show that is. Let me actually just pull this up real fast, because I'll read it pretty much as it was sent. It was in the comments. Give me 1 second here. If I will highlight the show if my questions are not answered, to prove my point of my questions seen and unanswered regarding, and then she goes on about what she wants to talk about. And here's the end. Here's the thing. As a person, as a caller, or as somebody who's watching and putting comments in, first of all, I appreciate everybody calling and putting in comments. I am not obligated, first of all, to answer the phone, or have Adam, or to take the calls that come through, or the fact I don't have to answer any of the questions or put them up to my guest, especially knowing that something like this is not something he knows about, nor am I going to blindside him. I'm not going to blindside him about something that he came on the show for something else. My show does not tackle topics like that. My show tackles about the paranormal. Talking about the conclave is not paranormal, but it's a mystery to me. So therefore, I felt that fits in. And my response to that, and I totally did not address it at all during the show, because that wasn't the place, and I did not want Father Bob to feel like that he was being attacked. So he gave his time to us freely. I've known him for a long time. He is a good person. I was not going to put that on to him. And I am not going to, I don't have to address those things, but I'm addressing it now because to that person, I'm just going to say, I know that you do Facebook Lives and stuff. I think that's a great topic for you to cover then. If you are looking for people to answer questions on that, I think you should do that as one of your topics. So that's where it's at. And now Damien in the comments, he says, does that mean you'll get a guest that can be grilled? So what it means is that if we're talking about a subject that we agreed upon, I have no problem uh, uh, that we ask questions, but this would have been a complete change of focus in the show, and also to embarrass the father over that when he has nothing to do with that. He has nothing to do with that sort of thing. He is a priest who has made his life commitment to helping others. He is not part of that. So this is a matter of staying on topic and not blindsiding somebody because someone else decides that they have an agenda tonight. Once again, those are questions, and her concerns are not something that isn't necessary, or is it something that's obviously there? It is there, but the show on Wednesday night was not the forum to ask those questions, and I do not have to respond to anybody, whether it's blindsiding or deciding that maybe their questions aren't fitting into my line of questioning. I wanted to be able to just go on with the show the way I wanted to. And I just wanted to talk about that. I don't know, Adam, did that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And, we are not the show, the kind of show that will bring on a guest and be like, okay, we're going to talk about this, this, and this. And then be like, oh, by the way, we didn't talk about this before, but we're going to hit you up with this. No, that's not how this works. We're not a shock radio show.
We're not a shock radio show. No. And to say that, when I say that, I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen in the church. I mean, all you have to do is do very little research, and that's what you would come up with. But this wasn't the purpose of the show. This isn't to catch a predator. This isn't GhostBox Radio to catch a predator. What this is very simply a show to talk about a very historic moment actually in our world. Whether you're Catholic or not, you're going to hear about it. I'm curious about the process of the conclave, and Father Bob is truly one of the nicest people I've met, certainly the nicest priest I've ever met, where he has given so much of his time to me freely to talk about his faith, and to be allowed to be, me to kind of push those boundaries of faith. But the questions that she wanted answered is beyond that, and it would be to be acceptable for bringing someone on and blindsiding them. So I don't want to beat this to death, but I wanted to address it because if people putting in comments online, I always love your comments. It doesn't always necessarily mean I'm going to get to them, or if I feel like that this isn't the track of questions I want to ask, it doesn't mean that I am going to necessarily read your question either. So I just wanted to address that. So there you go, Adam. That's all I have to say on that subject. I was reading some of the comments.
Well, and I do think you're 100% right. If they want whoever this person is wanted a harder hitting question, they've got their own show, or they can be a caller or a listener or whatever on a show that does tackle that kind of subject. Right. Because that's more of that would get more into law, and we are not a law show. No. You say it every other Wednesday anyway. We don't cover law, medical, nothing like that.
No. We and the purpose of GhostBox Radio is really, even when it comes to talking about when we're on serious subjects and stuff, it is truly a respite from what's going on in the world, that you can leave behind your political beliefs. You can leave behind just about anything, just to be able to talk about this wonderful subject of the paranormal to everyone. Everyone is the same coming in here. Everyone has, we're all here. We might have different levels of what we think paranormal is, or how much we believe and not believe. But at the end of the day, what this really comes down to is that this is a place, that a safe haven for all of us to enjoy paranormal. I'm not here to talk about politics or get into really the heavy stuff. On this station in particular, AM 950, there's a lot of shows that do that. This is meant for us to be able to talk, and especially on a Friday night, it's meant for us to have a little bit of fun and ease into the weekend, which is what we're going to do. And getting on my soapbox here and be able to pontificate for the last 20 minutes, I see that we already need to take a break here. So why don't we go ahead and do that? What I'd like to do is when we come back, we have question of the week. I want to talk a little bit about today and some other stuff and what happened to Raggedy Ann behind me yesterday. That's kind of interesting too. There's a lot going on here, and anything that you want to talk about that's not going to make me angry, you can put it into the comments. If it's paranormal, I'll be all right. This is Casual Friday. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. It's that time of year again where the weather is getting nice and it's time to get out of the house for some family fun. Lilliput is the perfect place and is open for the season. Be the first to take on their newest escape room, The Bunker. It's intense, exciting, and totally unforgettable. Prefer spooky? Try the Haunted Mansion. When you're done escaping, hit the mini golf course, go-karts, and jump pads. Lilliput is perfect for parties and group events too. Visit lilliput.net for hours and start your spring adventures at Lilliput.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
Boy, that Lilliput, Adam, that sounds like kind of a fun idea for this weekend. Tomorrow's going to be a nice day, too. That's all I know. I see some of my friends in the chat tonight, and they have like younger children and stuff. I don't know, going do some mini golf or the go-karts or do an escape room. That sounds kind of like a fun day tomorrow, if you're asking me, which you weren't.
Well, I will say we went up before they closed for the season this past fall, and the putt-putt course, maybe it's just me, I don't know. I thought it was challenging. My daughter and her friend thought it was fun because they whipped my booty, but it is a fun miniature golf course to be on, especially when you've got a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old razzing you from the side as you're trying to figure out how to putt because you ain't putt in years.
Right,
but it was a blast. It is a fun place. Peep it out if you're in the area.
Yeah, you got to go check it out. If you go check it out, let us know how it was, because I just know that they're doing so much to get things ready for the year. And you want to check their website, lilliput.net, to make sure that they're open. I can't imagine they're not tomorrow. Tomorrow's supposed to be beautiful. But I talked to I'm going to call him our resident meteorologist. I think he'd be very mad to hear me say that, to Justin, severe weather guy, because we know that it's not Patrick. And because we're supposed to get some severe weather on Monday. And yeah,
I'm excited.
I know. And in it, they put might include all like hail, lightning, thunder, tornadoes. They actually say tornadoes. So Folks, we always love the severe weather over here, but that's also just in case you weren't aware. This is going to looks like it's going to be more in the afternoon. So plan accordingly, because we don't want anything to happen to any of you. And, not to be, your mom over here, but make sure you also have like a plan when severe weather is in the area, like what to do, where to go, know where to go in the house if there's a tornado warning. I mean, we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. Just make sure that you're prepared, okay? We don't want anything to happen to anybody. We don't want you to go away. We want you to be able to, we don't want you to be the ghost in GhostBox. Let's put it that way. So just please be prepared. It's that time of year. And, talked to Justin about it, and he said, tornadoes can be from really now until sometimes even into September. But I always think that from now until the end of June in particular is very strong with tornadic activity. So just please be prepared and know what to do if you're in the car or whatnot, and would really want to make sure nothing happens to any of you. That's all I'm trying to say over here. So I want everyone to be safe. I'm that kind of guy, Adam, that just wants everyone to be okay.
And
yeah,
I will definitely say, if let's say your power goes out and you do happen to have a ghost box or SB7, that does work when you're not going through a bunch of channels at one time. Is actually a very good AM radio to pick up things, as long as you've got the antenna up. We've used it before, my Spirit box, as kind of an emergency weather radio before when our electricity went out and we couldn't get that. So if you do have one of those, it could also be life-saving.
And so a couple things here. Joshua had said, hey, since it's Casual Friday, any chance we'll do a ghost box again? And we actually never done a ghost box session on the radio show. I've done them. I think you might be thinking of one of my separate times I've done it a couple months ago, and I'm planning on doing one hopefully soon. I mean, the problem is, as Adam could attest, because he's going the same thing, is doing the work and then doing the show. It's right now so tiring to be able to find the energy to do that. And when you're doing Spirit box work, you do want to, and I'm not saying this to Joshua because he knows, but when you're doing Spirit box work, you want to be in somewhat of the right frame of mind, because that's important. Now, here's a little something, folks. We did, last Friday we did the show, and then afterwards, all of us here, we did a Spirit box session at the station, and that was pretty cool. That work turned out pretty well, I must say.
It did. I think I don't think we got out of here until 1. So we probably did that Spirit box session for close to an hour.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And we got some really good responses, and I think your wife saw a shadow person in the lobby because we were in the conference room.
Yeah, where I'll be sleeping tonight.
Yep. And because Adam doesn't have a place to live. We also I also heard the coughing of that person you've heard coughing.
Yeah, and one of our sales people here, Jennifer, she's heard the coughing too. And she's heard that during the day.
Right.
Because, she's not here past like 2:00 in the afternoon. But her and I were talking, I think, one day last week or the week before, and I had made a mention of him. She's like, I've heard that too. And I thought it was coming over the radio. And no, it's, a female talking. There's no male talking at the time.
That's very interesting. Yeah. And so we had a really good session. That was good. And Danielle says, Greg, that needs to be the new tagline. We don't want you to be the ghost in GhostBox Radio. When I start cutting the PSAs, it's like the more you know. It's instead it's like, don't be the ghost in GhostBox Radio. I think yeah, exactly. I have to admit, I was taken off guard today by my impromptu slot on the Matt McNeil show this afternoon that I really was not expecting whatsoever.
No, that was fun, but as a true professional as you are,
yeah,
at least one of us has got to be at this station. You handled it very well, considering you had 30 seconds till he went live.
He was live, basically. It's so here's the timeline. at 3:04 he comes into the station, and then at 3:04:50 he's like, you could hear from throughout the entire basement, Bakun. And it's like, did he just say my name? And it's like, what? He's like, get in here. And I'm like, all right, like in here, it's the studio. You are starting. So I come in as he's introducing himself. It's the Matt McNeil show, and I sit down, not knowing even what we're talking about, and we end up talking about Doctor Who, which was kind of fun. It's a show I've seen once or twice.
Only a handful of times.
Only a handful of times.
But you've seen it enough to be able to fill that first segment. But yeah, that was kind of interesting as we're standing in there in your office, and yeah, he pulls you in there, and you with no prep or anything, you just wax poetically about the new season of Doctor Who.
Yeah. It's just like, my gosh. And I'm like, does this mean I can take 10 minutes off my show tonight? Is what I asked Chad. And he said, no, I have to do the whole thing. So, yeah, it's interesting. And I don't know. It was fun. It was one of those things that are just like, okay, but that's the funny thing about it. People think, when these shows are like super well, like worked out in advance, and they generally are, but there's also going to be a point that you're going to just be like a minute before you start, hey, I need someone to do something, and you either do it or you don't do it, or they find someone. It's pretty like last minute like that. That's just how it rolls, and that's why I love this business. That's why, and I know that's why you love this business, is because it's not going to be the same every day. And I have gone hundreds of shows of the Matt McNeil show sitting across from him in my office, and that never happened. But then there's just that one day that it does, and it's just a lot of fun just to be able to be like, let's roll the punches. It's just the show. Are we any good? And I'm not saying that, this was a Marconi Award performance today, but like you said, we was able to kind of keep up, and that was good without knowing anything. And that's the fun part about doing this job and doing radio in general.
Yeah, and when he surprised you like that today, I'm glad it was just about Doctor Who, because as busy as you have been, not only with GhostBox, but your back office work here and, your weekend events and things, that's all you've had time to actually ingest is that latest Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he didn't want to talk about, the latest season of, the Star Wars series or whatever.
He did. He asked if I saw Andor. And
I
it's
still
like,
haven't seen Andor.
No, I just hadn't seen any of this new stuff yet. And I'll get around to it. But, it's like, it's fun. And I'm glad he's enjoying it because he's, you listen to his show and he's, very focused on the topics of the day. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see, because he might get a little worked up about it. I don't know if you noticed this, Adam. He sometimes might raise his voice a little bit during the program. It's nice to know that he's finding something that he enjoys, and that maybe, that heart stops pumping quite as fast for a couple hours. I just when he's on, sometimes I just dial 9-1 and waiting for the moment to dial the other one, because honestly, my God,
I've bored up his show before, and I'm kind of like, you're not going to blow a gasket? Okay, we're good. Hey. We're going to break. He can calm down for a minute and take a drink of water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
let him cool down.
Right. So I mean, there's a lot of that, but that's very interesting. Now, I do want to say, like I said, I recorded Simon Bown yesterday for this near-death experience episode that's going to air Tuesday night, and I'm going to try to be on there so that I can answer anything in the chat. I see Damien in the chat room here, and I know he's from the UK and he's up. It's like so if it's 10:37, that has to be 2:37 a.m. in the UK. Simon, my goodness, how dare he didn't want to do it live at 2 a.m. for some reason. But so we recorded it. But funny enough, Tuesday night, I did the show here by myself, and I'm cutting up the episode to post, and I hear next to me, I hear something like that, a humming. And I'm just like, what? Oh, it's 4:37. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. 4:37 a.m. Oh yeah. Why isn't he doing it live? My goodness.
Yeah, it's almost 5 a.m.
Yeah, I mean that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Like I've never even heard of 5 a.m. And anyway, there's this humming next to me, and I'm just like, what on earth? And I'm just like, can you do that again? And it did. And I'm like, all right. And I just look back at my friend behind me. And for those on the radio, listening on the radio, in my studio, I have a little Raggedy Ann doll behind me that has been on all my shows since I started going nightly. And I talked to her actually. And this is the famous doll that the day I brought her into my house, the moment I brought her into my house, I got her from Etsy. She's vintage. Shar reached out to me and she's like, what did you bring in your house? You brought a new energy in your house. So you have that. And I just looked at her and I'm just like, are you trying to get my attention? And nothing. And then we did the show Wednesday night. And then Thursday, I'm sitting down and I'm getting ready to record the episode with Simon. And she falls off the reel-to-reel player behind me. Out of all these years, she fell off. She has never fallen off before. And that was I'm just like, because I just am working, getting myself ready, and I hear something fall, and there's so much stuff in this house that it could be anything, and I'm just like, what on earth is it this time? And I'm looking actually out the door, seeing if I could see anything, and then I'm like, I just look behind me, and she's not there, and I'm just like, whoa. And I'm not saying, folks, I'm not saying it's paranormal. Obviously, I'm saying that this is, interesting, but it also could just be gravity playing, but that she fell when I was in here, and that it was, she's been there for so long. Just interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It's interesting to me.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on this.
Please do.
Because in the last couple of weeks within the chat that I've noticed, people had been like, did your doll just shift? And I know that was at least in 3 or 4 comments over the past couple of weeks.
Yep.
I'm going to lean to, yeah, that was paranormal. She's like, your doll's sitting there like, yeah, he ain't noticing me. I got to be bigger than just shifting. Boom, hit the ground.
We certainly got that. We got a lot of that. You're right, over the last few weeks, and once again, it's one of those things I kind of talked about in the first segment, that when people are saying that, first of all, I see it and I appreciate it, and don't stop doing it. I just don't bring it up because I don't want to derail the conversation. Just like I always see when people say hello, and I try to put those up on screen because I'm not going to take the show, half the show, with a guest to say hi to everybody. Just because it just doesn't feel like the right thing to do, but I'll certainly put you up on screen. But it's always a matter that, but I do see that, and you're right. There's been a number of people that have said it over the past so many weeks, and they talk about it, and I think they've also said the shadow moves behind her and stuff like that. I don't know, but it certainly was noteworthy on Wednesday or Thursday morning, because it's like, this has not happened before, and she's pretty secure up there. So I don't know. And I asked her, what would you like? What do you want to tell me? And she hadn't told me yet. So, she's one of those, she's a doll that I treat very respectfully, in the sense that when I do move her occasionally, when I do my reviews, I'll put some DVDs and stuff behind me instead of her and the candles, but I don't just put her off to the side. I will sit her in a chair. It's just, there's something about her that you need to treat her with respect. I've always thought that. And no, she's not. I mean, yes, I got her because it's the whole thing about Annabelle and stuff, and I think that's kind of fun. Do I think that she is some sort of crazed spirit haunted doll? I'm not sure if she's a haunted doll, but I like her there, and it's just fun to have. But she fell, and that was that's it. Damien says maybe wants to be a co-host. Hey, she could be host. I mean, that's she just has to say it though. And Stacy says maybe it was Linus playing with her. Well, there's that too. But yeah, she moved, and that was very interesting. So
I don't know. Maybe one of the next times you're going to be gone for an entire weekend doing an event, just leave a recorder next to her and see if you get any EVPs from her when you get back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much happening here because I have someone living in the basement that I don't know if that. Yeah, but I mean, maybe a night, maybe just in one night, just like, hey, I'm going to leave this on. Can you talk to me? I'll hear it in the morning.
Yeah,
maybe.
That'd be something I do if I thought one of the dolls in my house were creepy. But we don't have too many dolls in our house. My daughter was never really into them, and then like no antique dolls, please and thank you.
Bruce says maybe a camera to record her during your shows and see if you captured anything. Well, it's kind of what we're doing right now, Bruce. This is being recorded. Let's see here. Once again, this goes by really quick. Fridays are going very quick. We need to get to question of the week. It's a good question, and a lot of people answered it, and I want to get to it. So let's take our break. When we come back, question of the week. We'll end up the segment. We'll end up the weekend. And just have a great entrance into the weekend by doing that. It's Casual Friday here. You are listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I hope you are too. Also, just want to remind everyone and let everyone know that Monday on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun, we are going to see the return of Paul Blake Smith, hopefully. And the reason why I say hopefully is about, if you remember, he's been on the show before talking about Nixon and Gleason meeting the aliens and President Eisenhower. We also had him on about his book regarding the JFK assassination. And with all that paperwork being released about the assassination of JFK that the government released, I asked Paul if there was anything new, anything interesting that we should be talking about. And he said that he was going to read through, and we were planning on having him on Monday. I'm going to see if that's still the case. If not, hopefully he could still join us, and we can talk a little bit about that and anything else, because he is such a fascinating person that I would really, I'd really love to hear him, and I think you all would too. Also, hearing Mavericks, the spot, a friend of mine today sent me a picture. They had dinner at Mavericks, and I was very, very jealous about that. It's been probably about 3 months or so since I've been to Mavericks, and that's a long time. So gosh, I want to go. I want to get some roast beef Nice roast beef sandwiches, Adam. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask for?
Well, at this hour of night, yeah, but I'm sure tomorrow
I could eat.
You can grab some for lunch.
I could easily eat one now, but they're closed, so there's that as well. Let's get the question of the week, because we only have a segment left here, and I want to get to this because a lot of people put a lot of some interesting answers. It's like, you do know it. I do put on here. I read these answers on the radio show. The question of the week is this: is there one person? And now I'm reading off of Facebook. I could see that I already got a couple of the words spelt wrong. Boy, it's getting tougher. I swear, Adam, the older you get. Is there one person that has passed that you would like to say one more thing to? Just one more thing. Who would it be, and what would you say? Adam, you were thinking about that. What was your thoughts? Did you come up with any?
I'd probably just talk to my mom one more time. Just be like, thanks and love you. I think that's pretty much would be it.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, I honestly feel that the last couple of phone calls I have with my mom, we kind of said everything we needed to say to one another.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, I've lost a lot of people, but that's probably the one that I would want to just say that one more time to.
I've always wanted to write a short story or something of if something happened and you were allowed, if I myself was allowed 1 hour, I don't go back in time per se, but I take over my 8-year-old, 12-year-old body for 1 hour, and I just hang out with my dad. I just watch him, and I am able to do it in a young body when he's in a younger body, but I have my adult mind, and to be able to just have like 1 hour with him, what would that look like? That would have been, I've always wanted to kind of write a story about that, because to me that sounds like kind of beautiful.
It's very much the way I would like to do it, kind of a quantum leap type thing.
Very much. Yeah, it's a great way of putting it. Yeah, very much so. So let me just say that those were the answers I was expecting on here. Okay.
You got some deep ones, man. I was looking at some of them.
I have some deep ones, folks. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Once again, the question is there one person that has passed that you would like to say one more thing to? Who would it be, and what would you say? Lucy says, my sister Dawn. I'd like to know if she was poisoned. Okay. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that one at all. Let's see here. Felicity says, my sister and I have discussed this, which is kind of like, okay, this is cool. And she's like, we'd like to ask and basically what it comes down to, we'd like to ask our grandmother, who was very strong and opinionated in one political party, whether they would have voted certain ways that they did since she passed. And I you could probably figure out what I'm getting at, but I really don't like to get into that with the show. But you have that, Joanne, which I think, Joanne, you are listening tonight. I thought I saw you in the chat. Said, actually, I'm not going to read this one. Basically, what Joanne wanted to know was something that happened with her daughter, and she just wanted to know if her daughter forgave her for not being able to protect her. I think that's all that needs to be said. And you know what, Joanne? I think that you don't have anything to worry about there. When I read through that, and I can feel energies and stuff, and honestly, and you don't have to take my word for it, I don't think you have anything to feel guilty over at all. I think that she knows exactly what the situation was and your role in it. So I hope that's not a heavy heart to you. Okay. But that's where I'm going to leave that. Let's see here. Joshua in the comments here says, I'd cuss my brother out, then hug him and tell him I love him. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. Does it have to be someone you know? If not, William Pierce, and this is Damien talking here. Damien says, does it have to be someone you know? If not, William Pierce, 1855, great gold robbery. They were caught, but gold not recovered. So Damien's trying to get inside track where to find this gold is how I'm taking that. And
I like Damien's thoughts.
yeah, no, I mean, hey, why not? I see nothing wrong with that whatsoever. You know what? You know, maybe if he's going to talk to you, yeah, absolutely. Hey, where can I get some of this gold? Philip Anthony from the Downright Upright show says both my parents, absolutely. Jolene says my dad, ask him if heaven is beautiful like he said it was before he passed. He always told me that heaven was beautiful. One night he was sleeping and he woke up the next morning and told me that he was ready because he saw heaven and it was beautiful. Isn't that nice?
That is beautiful.
That's what I was expecting with these answers. Let's see here. Lisa says my partner Scott, just one word, more. So, and Lisa has lost her partner. I want to say it was last year, but I have a feeling it's at least 2 years ago now. Time just keeps moving, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's undefeated.
It's did you say undefeated?
Yeah, time is undefeated.
Yeah, it surely is. Bruce, who I've seen on here tonight, my birth father, whom I've never met, but I know who he is. I'd like to know his side of the story of my existence.
I can agree with that one. I'm kind of in the same boat.
Oh, yeah. I bet there's absolutely, I've heard of many before of just wanting to get understanding, clarity, all of that. Yeah.
That would be it. Nothing more.
Nothing more. Let's see. What else we got here? Jill, one of my favorite people, Jill says, yes, my first love, Ken, a best friend of mine who passed at 44 in 2021 because I just want to be with him. Wow. I had dreams of him a few days ago. Everything felt like in real life, us together. I never wanted to wake up. I miss him more than anything, always wishing we're still together like that. And the grief has been so tremendous. I long to be in the afterlife together. He's my soulmate. Wow.
And if those dreams are that vivid, he's coming to see you, hon. He's visiting.
And let's just be honest, Jill can see around a few corners. She definitely is a very gifted person. So I hope that I like I said, Jill's one of my favorite people, and it breaks my heart to hear. It breaks my heart to hear that. At the same time, it's beautiful because that is what love is, right?
It truly is.
And to a lump of coal known as Greg, even I'm understanding that when I read something like that. So let's see here. Denise Pack says, my paternal grandfather. There are a lot of issues that kept me from seeing or speaking to him for almost 10 years before his death. I came to the hospital as soon as I found out that he was on life support and they were removing it. I sat and held his hand and told him I loved him. Did he hear me? Oh, I think you know that answer, though, Denise, surely. And that's, I once again, folks, tune into Tuesday's show. I mean, all this fits together. Honestly, it's a great starting point for these type of conversations.
Mm.
Let's see here. Nancy says, in regards to if there's one loved one that you'd like to tell them something, what would it be? She says, my mom and my dad. I'm sorry I was a crappy daughter, but then again, I apologize weekly to them, so I'm good, I guess. I think there's a point, and I think it's a really good point to mention that, when do you let that grief go? That, it's like, and I don't mean grief over the loss of them, but just like I wasn't the greatest son, daughter, whatever. But, as long as I hope people aren't beating themselves up over that and holding back on their happiness for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That you can't let that override. You can only say it so much, and don't let it take you down.
It's always like you can't change the past. You can just improve yourself for the present and future.
And I think that's what they will see. They will see that, and they'll understand that you're not the same person that you were for whatever reason that you were. I see Jill, you're in the comments, and Jill, thank you so very much for sharing that. It was beautiful. It really, really was, and I can only imagine. Ken left so early on. I'm so sorry to hear that. Let's see here. Lynette says, and we're running out of time here. She says, I'm excited to read 2 books I just bought: Life After Death by Deepak Chopra and Testimony of Light by Helen Greaves. I know this was not your topic. I'm just saying. No, you're absolutely right. And the book that Simon has put out, Simon Bowen, Verified Near-Death Experiences, that is definitely one that you'd probably want to check out too. I mean, you already have 2. I'm not trying to like stack up books in your life, but something to think about. And Courtney says, get better, not bitter. I think that's a great line.
Yeah.
And Jill, I'm trying to remember, did we try to reach out to Ken through Spirit Box? I don't remember if we did or not. So if we haven't, if you are open to that, next time I do one, we should try to do it. Adam, can you believe it? This seemed like we were on for about 15 minutes tonight, but we were on for a whole show. It just flew by.
Yeah, it would be 11:59, wouldn't it?
Better not be 11:59. We'd be in real big trouble then.
I'm sure Chad would be fine with it.
Yeah, it's a good show. We do well. They like us, or they kind of like it. Lynette, Simon, Bown. That's how you spell it. Bown. We'll be back Monday with Paul Blake Smith. We're talking about the JFK assassination, the new papers released. Adam, as always, thank you very much for joining in tonight and taking part.
Thank you.
And Jill says, yes, we did, and we got him, and it was on point. So that's awesome, too. We'll be back Monday. Everyone, have a fantastic weekend.
It's Brad Friedman.